It's Monday, y'all. It's Monday. It's Monday. Welcome to Make It Happen Mondays, where we take a little bit of time out of our busy lives so you can be informed, inspired, and make it happen for the rest of the week. Listen, I intentionally make it happen Mondays, 12 o'clock on Mondays, because y'all know Monday is a struggle for most of us, but I'm trying to shift that so we can look at it as a new week and get excited. And I want y'all to start taking lunch breaks. So I do it at 12 so you have an excuse to break away, eat your lunch, and watch us and get inspired to make it happen for the rest of the week. So if you do not know me, I am Monique. I am the host of Make It Happen Mondays, the creator of Make It Happen Mondays. And I'm also the founder of She's Rising. And if y'all haven't heard about She's Rising yet, let me tell you about it. It is something that I created to help Black women leaders rise by breaking through those feelings of overwhelm. Y'all know we be feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, fear, which stifles us, and uncertainty when we don't know or we think we don't know where we're supposed to go and what we're supposed to do. And this is so we as Black women leaders can live the life that we don't feel like we need to escape from, and we can show up as our best every single day, unapologetically, no matter what's going on around us, right? And so we do this through our coaching programs, online resources, and event experiences. And the reason why I call them event experiences is because it's like this shift happens, this transformational shift. We're growing, right? We're learning, but we're doing it while experiencing luxury, because I believe in abundance and I believe that we should live lux, and the transformation and healing and everything that we're aspiring to in our lives can happen in those sort of settings and environments that could be integrated. So that is what we do. And I am excited. I've been coaching. I'm new. I'm newer to being certified in coaching, but I've been doing coaching forever. I just called myself a strategist. And I'm opening up my books, y'all. I'm opening up my books to serve a few people, a few Black women leaders at a time, through both our group coaching and one-on-one coaching. So I'm so excited to open the book. So if you are interested in that, please make sure that you comment. And matter of fact, just comment and say hello. If y'all in the room, say hello. We want to say hi back. This is not one of those things we want y'all to just look at us. We actually want you to engage. And so, speaking of Make It Happen Mondays and it's engaging, I want you to know that this is our space. I created Make It Happen Mondays so we can have a place to talk out our stuff. I bring on guests that are real. If y'all don't know by now, I am so real and so transparent. But it also allows us to hear the stories of other Black women leaders so we know we're not alone. It could feel lonely, like we're going through this by ourselves and nobody else is. But the stories in this moment, this platform tells us that we are not alone. Also, we are elevating Black women that are making it happen every single day. So many of us are doing amazing things, but we don't get the platform to showcase and to share our expertise and our stories. That's what Make It Happen Monday is about. So we laugh, we cry sometimes, but we learn and we strengthen and we grow together. So I say again, welcome to Make It Happen Mondays. And my hope is that you stay connected. You stay connected with me. You can follow me on Instagram at Monique Inc. You can subscribe right here on YouTube and engage with me by joining me live every single Monday. Now, if y'all saw last Monday, I attempted it in person and we had a great time, but you're going to see two different videos because it didn't do well for us. It went out and all the things, but perfect. We don't care about that. We got the word out. So y'all go back and watch last week. It was good. But while y'all here, comment, ask questions. This is a time for you to learn from the experts that are coming on the screen. And of course, share it with your girls. Like right now, if you haven't already done it, share it with your girls. Hi, Wildnat. Happy Monday. Holly. Hey, Sonia. Thank y'all. Make sure y'all continue to say hi so we can say hi back. All right. So share it with your girls. It's simple. Share that link the way we share those old goofy videos so we can make more women be a part of this village and this circle that's being created. Like we need that. Good afternoon, Shamriel. I hope I pronounced that right. All right. So without further ado, because y'all probably didn't come to see me. Y'all probably came to see my guest, which is cool. I like it like that. I like it like that. So I want to go ahead and read the bio of our wonderful guest who has happened to save me a lot of coins, y'all. A lot of coins. She happened to save me a lot of coins. I have with me Leanna Miller. Leanna Miller, I'm going to read her bio because she has done amazing things. She is the wealth elevator, right? Now, I just love that title by itself, that guides women to unveil their financial journey with audacious confidence and tantalizing sensuality. Yes, I'm like y'all. I want to know what that means, right? I am intrigued. I want to know what that means. As a CFO and money liberation coach, Leanna is known as the secret weapon behind her clients' multi six and seven figure empires. Come on, empires. With Leanna's potent blend of pleasure infused financial strategy, her clients have amassed over $10 million in tax savings over just 5 years. Her passion, increasing business owners' net worth, and protecting generational wealth, all with a playful and delicately empowering twist. The heart of Leanna's mission is to lead women toward unlocking their potential and commanding unapologetic abundance. Leanna is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Ooh. She holds a BA in finance from Baldwin Wallace University and is the loving mother of one. So without further ado, y'all know we got to play her Make It Happen song. Here we go. We're going to bring Leanna in. Come on. Let the song get started first. Oh, I pronounced it right. That's good, Shamriel.
Yeah. I'm too sexy for this girl, too sexy for your girl, too sexy for this world, too sexy for this item, too sexy for that jack. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna drop it like my son be like.
Too sexy for your game, too sexy for this fame. Yeah, yeah.
Hey.
I'm too sexy for the trap,
Beat drop, hold on.
for that jack, too sexy for that jack. Yeah, yeah. Okay, alright, that's fine. Okay, I'm feeling too sexy to accept requests.
Hey, I hope y'all rocking with us over there. Come on. Hey. Hi, Amber. Hey, happy Monday. Let me stop. Let me pause. Because I done went somewhere. Hold on. I'm trying to be elegant today with my pup. Trying to be classy. Welcome to Make It Happen Monday.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody.
Yes. So that is your Make It Happen song, huh?
That's my jam.
Why is that your Make It Happen song?
That is my song. One, the beat is amazing. I love Future. I love Drake. But whenever I hear that song, it's like, okay, I can go do whatever it is I need to do. Anytime there's situations, I'm like, I'm just too fly for this, you know?
I'm too sexy for
So I am too sexy for whatever it is. So it's always a reminder to me of like the bigger version of myself. Like if I want to play small sometimes, or if I'm being shy about something, it's like, come on, did you forget who you were? Let's go.
I'm just even on a Monday, y'all. We supposed to wake up on a Monday. I'm too sexy to be stressed on this Monday. You know, like you just gotta.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm too sexy for all of that. You know,
I'm too sexy for this. That's good stuff. So we read all. Yeah. That is good stuff. So we read about you, right? We read about the bio. Your bio. So we're gonna get into that in a minute. But I love for people as successful. You know, they see this sort of image of a lot of women that are successful, but don't really get to know that person. So I love to start off by having my guests share something quirky or funny or silly that other people don't know.
So for me, I have this weird, and this is very quirky. I have this weird thing where I really like grocery shopping. Like I love, like I don't want to do the laundry. There's a lot of stuff I will outsource. But I love going to the grocery store. I love finding new grocery stores. Yeah. Like I go up every single aisle. Like
I said me too. Can I give y'all my list? Because I cannot stand to the grocery store. It is such a waste of time to me. I
I
don't
love
like
it. It's so
to.
much fun, especially you can like go to different ones. You go to Trader Joe's, you go to, you know, you go to Trader Joe's, you go to Aldi, you go to the West Side Market. I like to see all the colors. So I'm
Jesus.
always buying stuff that's not on my list.
Oh my
So
God. So I,
yeah.
and I know I can't give you my list, but Hallie, if this is what you want to do for the living, I would love to give somebody my list. Listen, Amber said, no, I'm with you now. Amber,
Yeah.
I shop on
It's
Giant
so
Eagle app.
quiet. Like people don't talk to me unless it's, like I, I just it's just I feel like it's just me in the cart and I'm just free.
Listen, I approach going to the grocery store the way I approach going to the gym. I put on my music and I just like I gotta like just go get it. Just get it done. That's it.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't I gotta have some music pumping me up to
You would
get
not want to go with me.
God Jesus. I don't like it, but that's funny. Okay, okay. So listen, you talked about, let me go back to this thing here. You said that with audacious and tantalizing sensuality. So you have this like, you don't just talk about money, you talk about pleasure, which was our thing last week, and
Which I
sensuality.
love.
Let's get into it. Like I've always been curious about this foreplay. Your money for you got something foreplay. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's just get into it. Rip the band-aid off. Hold on, I'm gonna clutch
So
my pearls before you start going.
okay. Everybody might need to clutch their pearls, but I'm gonna keep it appropriate. Okay. Um. So I am like a traditional finance girly. So I have a degree in finance. I
Yeah.
worked in big four accounting firms. Like I am. When it comes to some numbers, I like know it. But what I realized over time, just in my own journey, is
Yeah.
that as a woman, the thing that nobody taught me about money, and people taught me a lot about money. However, it was always from this very masculine perspective. And
Mm.
what I've learned over time is that being a woman and dealing with money is one of the best combinations ever. But
Mm.
nobody ever taught me, or I would say us, how to tap into that. And so I have this framework that I call money intimacy. And
Mm.
so I describe money intimacy as the connection between you and money because that's all that intimacy means is connection, familiarity, and like
Mm.
rapport. So it's just simple as that. So when I started to build my framework around this concept of money, women, sensuality, I
Yeah.
started to realize that there were a lot of missing pieces
Mm.
that we have in our romantic relationships. But if we take that and we change out like a man for money, or if you're a man, swap out woman or whatever your preference is. Um, and we think about it that way, it's like, wait a minute, there is so much intimacy in our relationships romantically, or even in our like, even with our kids or our family members, that if we
Okay.
took that same concept and put it with money,
Okay.
like it's just, it changes the game. And for
Break that
women,
down. Break that
okay,
down. What does that
all right,
look
so
like?
let's break that down.
Yeah, break that down
So
for us.
the way I like to put it is so you put money over here, you put your mind over here.
Okay.
And the further you go, so if you think of like a funnel, the
Mm-hmm.
deeper you go down this funnel, the
Mm-hmm.
more intimate your mind and your money become. But we got
Okay.
to think about what we put into the funnel.
Okay.
So I always start with people on vulnerability. So
Mm-hmm.
intimacy is into me see. So look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like in a relationship, right? The first thing we got to do is get vulnerable. You got to
Okay.
tell me your good. You got to tell me your bad. You got to tell me what happened when you were a kid, what your mama did, what your auntie did, what your daddy didn't do. We got to get vulnerable. And
Yeah.
so when we think about money, we have to do the very same thing. So, how did I get this way? Like,
Mm-hmm.
nobody just got here. And with
Okay.
money, a lot of time, financial literacy does us a disservice because it just says, well, what's in the bank today?
Okay.
And it's not asking us about the storyline that got us here.
Mm-hmm.
So we got
Mm-hmm.
to think about. So the first thing I always ask people is, what's your first memory of money? Right? Like,
Hmm.
what's the very first memory
Let's
you have?
pause. Let's pause. Let's pause and see. If you're tuned in, first of all, hello. If you haven't shared, share yet. We're here with Leanna Miller. Y'all can see she starting off dropping all the gems. So what was your first memory with money? Let me see. Anybody gonna comment? What was your first memory with money? My God, let me think with mine. Ooh, mine was probably my mom writing them checks in that grocery store. And it said decline. Decline. That and my grandma pulling it out of her chest, right? So I have mixed messages.
Those are good ones, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So so then it's like if you're a little girl and grandma's always pulling money out of her chest,
yeah,
then it's like, well, how much money can our boobs hold? So I only got
yeah.
as much money on me as I might need. So then that can spiral into so many other things where you're like, well, I should only have enough money that can fit here versus like abundance about money, right?
I feel like she had so much. I was like, oh, you got there
Grandma
too.
got some
Look, Amber said trying to hustle keychains in elementary school, but what was happening where you felt like you need to hustle keychains in the elementary school? Like I want to know what I think that the hustling keychains might have been the result of something else. What come on, Amber?
right.
That's it. And then Hallie said I had a job at 10 years old because my parents wouldn't give me money. So that's
Right.
what's hers? What's Hallie's story say? What's
Okay.
message behind hers?
Okay. It says, hold on. So it says, I had a job at 10 years old because my parents wouldn't give me money.
Mm,
So the first thing that I would think is that it's Holly. I
Hallie,
want to
Hallie.
assume that she is a hard worker, like she's working a lot, right? You might be the kind of person who feels like you never have enough,
Mm,
and you probably do not want to ask anybody for money ever. You
right.
probably the kind of person that's like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to have to ask because I don't want to hear somebody
Yeah,
tell me no the way my parents told me no.
right. And that's what Amber said. She wanted freedom.
Right.
If you have it, spend it, and I'm always going to figure it out.
Oh, she said
Hmm.
very true.
Yeah.
Right. So we
Oh,
take
okay.
something
Hallie said,
like that.
yeah. Yeah,
We
yeah,
take
yeah.
something like that, and then we say, okay, so if we have to be vulnerable to call out that memory.
Yeah,
And then from there, we have to say, okay, that's the memory. And it's been replaying in your mind into
yeah,
adulthood. And you're probably
yeah.
going to teach your kids or the people around you that same
The same
thing.
thing. Yeah.
So then we have to go from this level of vulnerability to this place of surrender, where it's
Mm.
like, I
You
have,
know, that's a tough word for Black women now. Which is surrender.
right,
Like, no,
right.
we got to be ready. We can't
Got
surrender. Okay.
right. So when we go from this place of vulnerability where we're looking at ourselves and our story with this
Mm,
place of like, from this place of like empathy, like we're holding on to like the the 12-year-old Hallie or the 9-year-old Hallie, and we're saying it's okay. That happened, right? And you're here as a product of that. So we
mm,
won't throw out the baby but with the bathwater. But what we can say is from this moment on, what do
yeah.
I want my story to look like? But in order to do that, we have to surrender to what happened so that we can stop here and go forward.
It's okay. Okay. So let's talk about that. And I'm gonna come back and read Sonia's thoughts. So when you talk about surrender to what happened, I imagine that, and I know a lot of Black, like sometimes our response to what happened is to ignore it or stuff it, right?
Mm-hmm.
To act like it didn't exist or to continue to try to fight,
Yep.
like to
Yes.
like you know what I mean. So when you say surrender, it means like sort of accept like that's my truth,
That is your truth up to this point, right? Because
right?
we don't want to. I really think like a lot of my like coaching certifications and stuff are through a trauma informed lens. So I
Yeah,
can't look at a Black woman and say what happened to you doesn't matter, like,
right.
because it does, it matters, right? So we value that, and then we say, all right, yeah, that happened, and it
Yeah,
got me here, but
right.
now what am I am ready to surrender and release that being my truth for my
Mm,
future.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's a challenging process. It is not easy. It is very, very hard. And it takes working at it every single day.
Every
It's
day,
hard.
no
It's
days
hard.
off. That's what
It's
they
some
make
of the,
days off.
yeah. Yeah. Like that's the no days off work.
Right. That's the no. Exactly. So talk to us about your story. Like how did you come
Mm.
upon learning this intimacy and the shift of the story and the dude like
Okay. So my story, it's very, very, very interesting. But my story, I started my first business. I found out I was pregnant with my daughter 2 weeks before graduation.
okay, okay.
So in a matter of like time, my life, the trajectory of my life changed very quickly.
Hmm.
So I have been doing all these things as a mother. So I want to add that in there, right? So I have this extra layer of pressure and things. So I had my daughter, I get my first big girl job at the big accounting firm, and then I go and I start a business, right? I started my first business while I was working in Fortune 500 company.
Okay.
And I took this big leap to quit that job.
Okay.
I mean, just balls to the wall, like no plan, no like I am
I
so
can
passionate
relate.
about this,
I can
right?
relate. Do not
Um,
recommend balls to
yeah,
the wall.
yeah, I do not recommend. Um, I quit my job before it was like the cool thing to do. So this is like back in 2015, before it was like
Yeah,
the Instagram trend. I
yeah.
did that and I went on this journey of entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And it was this rocky road. My first business was like my baby, my heart birthed into the world. And
Mm.
so in that journey, I ended up falling flat on my face. Sorry, let me see. Okay, sorry about that. So I ended up having a lot of success really, really quickly and then falling on my face very publicly because I didn't have the tools in my toolkit that I have now.
Because you were what,
So
like 23, 20?
yeah, I was
Yeah,
young. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
My and I had a baby food company, right? So I'm like selling these subscriptions of baby food, $300 a month, like all over Northeast Ohio. Like I'm on TV, I'm doing all the things.
Wow.
I'm doing all the things.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I came to this roadblock where I started out really quick, straight off of passion. I hit this roadblock, and mentally I could not hold that. And I'm also a mother, so I shut that business down because I literally could not, like, I was so overwhelmed. I didn't want to get out of bed.
So you
Like,
said mentally you couldn't hold that, like hold what, like you had the success. What was
I
going on
could not
mentally during that time?
mentally, I just felt alone, right? I felt like nobody understood what I was going through. I'm coming into this influx of money that I have
Mm,
never experienced. I'm dealing
yeah.
with these huge investors. I am on the TV. I have a little girl.
Uh,
I am I'm the oldest of six. There is just responsibility out the wazoo. And I was not prepared at that time to energetically hold what scaling a business from zero, from my
yeah,
kitchen
yeah.
to six figures would do to me at
Right.
20, whatever, with a
That
little
part, right?
person.
Because
Right.
we often talk about what's needed mentally to come out of sort of the struggle, like the to not having to having. We don't talk about the mental shift from growing up in poverty to living and obtaining wealth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Like it's a success. Like there's a something that happens when you reach a certain level of success. Like they have a happiness anxiety. Like we don't fear that we'll fail. We'll fear that we be successful. We don't talk about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So experiencing that, it's like, okay, so then I shut that business down, right? I go do some other things in the meantime, but I'm like, I know I'm supposed to have a business, boom, whatever. So I go back to my technical skills. I've always been the finance girl. When I was in all the pitch competitions, they always had me do the finance part, or the people would have me figure out their numbers. I'm like, I know that. So I went back to that. And again, I scaled a business very quickly during the pandemic, six figures, right? Because I have a skill set that most people don't. So I'm like, oh, tax, money, figure this out. I got you. So that's how I built the business that I have now. But what did I do? I hit another climax. That's what I call them. I call them climaxes. I see everything through the
Oh
lens
yeah,
of
oh
pleasure.
yeah. I forgot
You know,
everything is an
you know,
essential. Okay, okay. So why is it a climax? Hi,
right,
Erica. Welcome,
right.
welcome.
Some people call them ceilings. I call them climaxes because
Okay.
when we think about pleasure, right? Everybody's you're trying to get to a climax, right? And that climax is either orgasmic, it might not be, whatever. Who knows? It depends on how it comes together, which is why I'm big, like right now, in financial foreplay. We got to have a foreplay, or the climax, the orgasm is not going to be worth all
Be.
the
Oh.
exactly, right. I'm going
So
somewhere.
you're saying if we don't do certain fundamental things, which is the
The
foreplay,
foreplay,
and sort of instead of immediately going to that next
climax.
financial level,
Mm-hmm.
the climax.
Yep.
I'm clenching my pearls.
It took me
But
a long time to get
I'm breaking
comfortable
it
with
down.
this too.
Let me
You
see if
got
I'm
it.
so we
You
got
got
to
it.
set ourselves up and take our time to get there. So when we get there, we can experience the full pleasure
The full
of
pleasure
the climax experience.
and keep going,
And keep
right?
going, keep
And
going.
that's ecstasy.
It's something beyond the climax.
Yeah,
So
because climax we peak and then we go to ecstasy. And so we can go to ecstasy, then it's ongoing, right? And
mm.
that's the space where that's where we want to get.
How many of y'all? I wish y'all could see y'all face. How many of y'all face look like my face? Oh Lord, we need our climax. I need.
Right? But that's why I always bring it back.
I
I
wasn't
always
ready.
right, but it's so crazy because it's like that's
Yeah.
how I see it in my mind. And
Wow.
so then I scale this next business, right? To six
Yeah.
figures. First in the first year,
Yeah.
boom, I hit another climax. But
Yeah.
this time the difference was this time I said, I'm not going back to being depressed and trying to get
You
out the
want
bed.
to. Yeah. It's not going to be like a hit the climax and be done. You going to ecstasy.
We're going to figure this out. And so
Hey,
sometimes
see, my
so
senses.
it took me a second where in my business now, the first time I hit six figures, I was just like, I can't go back to where I was the first time. I know
Mm,
what it's like to not be able to get out of the bed. I know what it's
mm,
like to feel like overwhelmed, depressed. I don't have anybody to talk to. My
mm.
family's like, we haven't talked to you. That's why they say check on your strong friends. I'm the strong
Check on
friend,
your
right?
strong friends.
Check on us.
Please stop thinking the strong friends are okay. We need we need more than the weak friends.
Okay.
Like we are not okay. Okay.
Okay, we are not okay. We just make it look good, even to this
Like
day.
they like it. They liking this climax and
Come
ecstasy.
on, ecstasy.
Okay.
So
They
what
can't stay
I
on my face at this point. Okay, Erica, what can't stay on your face, Erica? Oh Lord.
so so then I told myself during the pandemic, I was just like, I cannot go back there. I can't go back to that dark place. I have to figure this out. And so
Yeah.
I started to really explore other like ways of healing. So that's when I started to go to therapy. And therapy helped me understand what I was experiencing. Like, why did I have this high five figure month? And then I never was able to repeat it.
Oh, that's you talking my reality.
It's so many people,
You,
right? And
yes.
you talking to a money person. I see people's money stuff all the time. So
All
I
the
know all the
time.
time.
And we want to separate it, the money from the other aspect of our life.
And we need them to be as close as
We
possible. We
need
gotta go to we need to
because
get to yep, you got it. Because the further they are apart, they're
mm,
just going this way. We got to go vulnerability, then surrender. We got to look at pleasure. We got to look at all these different things. There's 9 things in there. We got to look at seduction and embodiment. We got to look at all of those things in order to really get to this place where like people talk about financial literacy. Like, no, we got to embody it. Like it's
it's yeah.
yeah, right. And so we can do that from this really healthy place and without shame and saying, okay, like, yeah, I can do this. So, like, therapy during the pandemic really helped me peel back. Like, I was in therapy, but my therapist was also a life coach. So, he understood
Right.
that it wasn't necessarily certain traumas. It was this girl is trying to expand her mind so that she can continue to hold these things.
and
And
expand
so,
beyond what your experiences have
right.
taught you. Because
Yep.
that was, I did the same thing during the pandemic, climaxed,
Climax with a
right?
capital C.
Yeah, and like what in the flippity flop, 3 years in a row, just kept going higher, higher. Because you do my money, keep going higher and higher and higher. Move to the island, living my best life. Apartment, beautiful, resources to do it. And suddenly I went from almost a half a million, 50% increase between year 2 and 3 to months of zero.
Mm-hmm.
And it took somebody to say, it's not about the business. It's something within your mind that is telling you either one, you don't deserve that level of success.
Yep.
It's not for you. It was a fluke. You really didn't earn it. Right? Like it's all of these things that come up for this next level. Like you said, this expansion, this from climax to ecstasy. So, what is the ecstasy financially?
So the last piece at the bottom of the funnel is
Yeah.
liberation, right?
Ooh.
That's after you have literally, so you go vulnerability, surrender, pleasure. We talk about seduction. We look at embodiment, leverage, leadership, turning things on. And then we get to this place of liberation, right? And liberation is where there is overflow and you're
Yeah.
able to pay it forward. So
It's
when you get to that place, it's like, you know what? I have gone through the process. I have raised my energetic minimum, right? Like we all have energetic minimums,
energetic minimums.
right?
I have raised my energetic. I'm about to put that in there so that could be. I have raised my energetic minimum.
Minimum, right?
Mm.
So, and for those who may not know what that means, the energetic minimum is the maximum of what you feel you deserve.
Yes.
That's the climax, right?
Oh, I like it. I like
Right.
it. I didn't know where you was going with all of this freaky deaky stuff, but listen, I'm with it. I like it. I like it.
So that is the climax.
Yeah.
You got to be able to go past that. In order to get there, in order to get past it, you have to raise that minimum. There was a point in time where I was like, because there's certain people who always got the same amount of money in their bank account. Let's say it's $1,000, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people, if your energetic minimum is 1,000,
Yeah.
or if the maximum that you always have is $1,000,
Yeah.
you'll start manifesting bills. And if you get to 2,000, you're gonna start having a bill. A kid gonna get hurt.
Ooh.
Somebody, this is gonna happen. It's gonna be all these emergencies, right?
Yeah.
Because energetically, you are like, I'm not supposed to have more than $1,000. So you're
Mm.
manifesting bills and problems, and this person needs this, and this person needs that. So then there comes these
Jesus.
boundaries that have to go into place,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
the way that you, some people, it is not even about them. I remember having a client one time where anytime her bank account would get to a certain number, she would freak out because that's how much money her parents lost because like her dad did something. So whenever she would see that amount of money, she would be like, I'm about to lose it all. I'm about to lose it all. I'm about to lose it all. And so we
Right.
had to go and rewrite that.
Right.
But once we establish what those things are, then it's like, all right, how do we raise that? So then we have to do the background work to say, you know what, I'm gonna raise my energetic minimum to 5,000,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go and start embodying what it is like to have $5,000 in your bank account every month.
And what does that look like? Like to embody it? Like talk to us about, because I love to make things, I say every week, practical so they can
Mm-hmm.
walk away and actually apply what they're hearing. How do you embody
So there's a couple of different ways you can embody it.
that?
Some of it is literally telling yourself it, right?
Right.
Like, this is
Constant.
my energetic minimum.
Yeah.
I'm going to have $5,000 in my bank account,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Some of it is that part, but then you have to go a little deeper. There are certain exercises I do. So like, especially during the pandemic when I really got good at this, it's called 3 by 33. So
Mhm.
whatever it is, right? Because you have to start with gratitude, right? Money likes gratitude.
Okay, money.
Gratitude is everything.
Okay,
If
okay,
you are not grateful for what you have, you will not be grateful for what you want,
okay.
right?
So instead of looking at the account and seeing what's not there and saying thank you for what is there, or
Thank you
if
for
it's
what is
not
there.
there in the fruit, right, in the actual literal dollar amount, you can thankful for what the skill set that you have that can attract the money. Like find,
Exactly.
okay,
I don't
okay,
care if it's a dollar, I'm grateful for this dollar, right?
right,
And then
right.
there's the exercise I always tell people, especially at the very beginning of the process, it's like, so it's 3 by 33. So you take a statement, you write it as if it's already happened.
This
You
is
write
free
it,
information. Y'all better
yes,
get y'all
take this,
notes.
take this. So, and my clients know, they're like, I need like $1,000. I'm like, all right, come on, this is what we're about to do. So it's called 3 by 33,
Okay.
and you take a statement and you write it as if it's already happened. So this is called scripting. So this actually plays with your brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you will write, let's say, I'm grateful for the extra $1,000 I received this week.
Yeah.
You will write that out 33 times
Mm-hmm.
for 3 days straight at the same exact time.
Mm.
I always tell people to do it like before you go to bed, because what you're doing is training your subconscious to
Mm.
believe that. Because the thing about our brains is our brains cannot feel, right? They don't feel, the brain can't feel anything. And the
Okay.
brain only knows what you tell it.
Yeah.
So you have to brainwash yourself. I tell people it's time to be delusional.
Mm.
Like
I like that.
if you
Yeah.
got that delusional friend,
Yeah.
you need to take some
And you
notes.
like, are you serious? Like, do you really believe that? Like,
Okay. Right. So it could, and I always bring it back to relationships. Like we get real delusional in relationships. That's my
oh yeah,
man. Take that
keep
same
going.
level of delusion and apply it here.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Make it
Yeah.
real plain for us.
Yeah.
Okay. That hot messiness that you're saying is you so
Yeah.
great. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Put
okay.
that energy over here.
Yeah,
So that's an easy way to just start to get your brain to subconsciously hear that and
yeah,
feel
yeah.
that on a regular basis. That has nothing to do with tangible dollars, right? You
Right.
have to brainwash yourself. So when you start feeling that and believing that, you're going to find little things that
Mm.
you're going to start being more grateful for. You're like, oh, it was $1,000 I said.
Yeah,
I remember one time I just got a little refund card in the mail from T-Mobile. Apparently I overpaid on my bill.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I take this $95
Yeah, yeah. And I
because
just want to vouch. I want to vouch for what you're saying because what I earned, and that's what I said at a wealth conference last weekend. Latrice had a
Mhm.
wealth conference,
Love her.
and I spoke on Friday, and what I said is I didn't get to where I was because of what I did. It's because of what I believed.
Mhm.
I literally started to do gratitude every single day. Last year, for all my clients and people I worked with and partners, I sent them gratitude jars. And
I got
every
one.
single day, yeah, yeah, you did get
I
one.
got one in my meditation area. I use
And
it
it,
all the time.
yeah, and it sounds like overrated. Like if you think about it, like people are like, oh God, a gratitude, but it's like it really is the beginning place of creating that abundance mindset and attracting those things to you. It's like it's not a joke. If y'all do not um
Mhm.
do gratitude every single day, and actually when I started to fall off, I had started to fall off on the gratitude piece and the things that I had learned to do that took me to that place to achieve what I did. I just wasn't expecting for it to be so much. So I'm like, you got to go back and do what you did to get to you gonna make 150,000. So then you make 425, and you like, no, girl, go back and do those things
Yeah.
that you did. Yeah. Oh, she
So,
said, what time of day did you say do this? She said the same time every day.
I like to tell people to do it before they go to bed. So like after they take a shower and you just kind of relax,
Wind
because
down.
then you go to sleep and that's what is going to get imparted in your subconscious.
Love it. And
Yeah.
you guys, please don't hesitate to ask questions too. So Leanna can answer those questions. AB said, yes, yes, gratitude, magnitude, whole lot of
Yes.
exclamation points. And if y'all haven't, y'all see what she's sharing here. So share with your friends if you haven't yet.
Oh,
So
yes.
then they need to hop
Share.
on and get some of this.
So
Yes.
then when we talk
Uh-huh.
about embodiment, embodiment is like 4 stages.
Okay.
So first you get good at receiving money, right? Because we talked about
Mm-hmm.
being a money magnet, right? As a
Mm-hmm.
woman, money, so if we go off the idea that money is energy and we think about magnets, magnets are opposites attract, right? So there has to be 2 separate things.
Okay.
So we think about it, money is a masculine energy. So for a female, it's really dope because you got masculine and you as a female are feminine energy. Now men have feminine energy too because we all have both. We all
But
have
why
that
is
yin and
money
yang.
masculine energy? Why is money masculine energy?
I know, right?
Yeah, like where did that come from?
So money
I like
is
that.
masculine. I like to think of money as masculine because money is, it might be the patriarchy, right? But money is masculine because it's all about control and dominance and power and structure and system. All
Mm.
things that the feminine is like, ooh, right?
And that makes sense because, like, even in Rachel Rogers' books, I always talk about that all the time. She talks about how there's so many constructs around women and money, and why we're not good. We're not good at it because it goes
We
to
are
the
strong.
man. Yeah.
We're trying to operate in this masculine energy when we are women, and we have to go to our secret weapon, which is our feminine energy. Because if money is masculine and we are feminine, those two are going to attract each other. So I always tell women when it comes to money, like use your, that's your power. Like especially we go there, that P word, and people always say P power. I ain't gonna say it.
I was like, pleasure. Look, I'm a little slow. I was like, pleasure. I was trying to think of the P. Oh,
Right? Like women, we
okay.
have this unique power of creation.
We
And
do.
like,
We do. We can
right?
create.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
women, we have to be more comfortable with receiving, which is why when we talk about the pleasure part of this whole construct, you cannot get the level of pleasure you want, the big O, for instance, if you are not willing to receive. You have to receive. Like literally, if we take it back to a relationship, you have to surrender. Your body literally has to surrender and receive in order for you to get that big climax, right? It's the same thing with money. So money is trying to attract to you, but you gotta be,
Why is it? Oh my gosh! Why is this so?
tell me it
So
don't make sense.
it makes sense, but I'm so uncomfortable.
I know,
But
right?
it's like, but I could really see how if you really took this in and started to operate with your money the way that you're describing in this sort of feminine essence,
That's
I
the
can
sensual
really
tantalizing part.
can see the correlation, but it's just like
It's
I
a
never
lot.
married those two pieces together.
And it's funny that we are like 2 women of color or 2 Black women having this conversation because those are the 2 things that are taboo for us as Black women. Nobody talks to us about money. Nobody talks to us about sex,
About sex, because in the church you don't.
right?
But I love but this is dad comment. This is good. So I think my guest just be coming on here to tear me up because I'm like, you can't keep, especially if it has male energy and you have issues with, if it has masculine energy and you have issues with masculinity.
Yep. Or you don't know how to like turn that part off because we got both, right? It's times where you got to use your
Right.
masculinity, you got to get stuff
Like
done.
I got a
So
lot
it's
of
not saying masculine energy is not bad, right?
yeah.
But we have to learn how to, feminine energy likes flow, it likes creativity, it likes freedom, it's like ease. So if we sit in that energy, money is going to naturally attract to us because it's like, oh, that's that thing. But if it's like, oh, it's like me, it's going to chill. Like it's just like a man who wants a woman. If he's like, oh, that's my thing, I want that, he's going to come get that. He's gonna
Yeah.
do whatever he got to do
Just gotta
to
dress. You just gotta walk on by in your
you got
feminine energy.
exactly. You don't have to do too much. You ain't got to show
What?
too much,
What
baby. Just
y'all think about this?
sashay on by.
Just sashay on by. But no, but what you're saying, and I'm gonna read the comments in a minute because I just can't help whenever I'm hearing things because I want to learn too. I'm trying to apply it to my life, and so if I have been if I have a wall up, and this is why therapy is really crucial because if
Mm-hmm.
I have a wall up and I'm looking to see and I'm seeing that wall, like okay, I can attract it, but I don't maintain it. Like if I like, oh, love, and then I'm like, oh no, I'm feeling love. This too much. This too much. I'm doing the connection for me, y'all. I'm being transparent, so
Mm-hmm.
y'all can do y'all connection. So I'm like, that's the same thing that happened financially. I was like, oh yes, I want the money because it'll give me the freedom. I can provide for my children. I can live the life I desire to live. And then when I got it, it was like, oh no, this too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same message that's hitting across the multiple areas.
Yeah, it's
That's
exactly that because
powerful.
it's keeping it. You got it. Now you got to keep it. So
Keep
you got to
it.
raise that
You gotta
minimum
raise it.
so you can
Oh,
have more capacity.
you
So
have to
then,
raise. What did we call that earlier? That minimum, their
that's the
energetic minimum.
energetic minimum.
You
Hmm.
have to raise that
You have to raise it because now we need more space.
because
So
we're actually
then,
trying to get the climax, but we got to start saying no. The minimum is the ecstasy
right, right because it,
with you.
you you have to because you don't want to go back.
You don't want to
So
go back,
you don't want to go back. So
but
then
we
it's
end
like,
up
okay,
going back. Why? Why do we end up going back?
some
Do
of the
we?
things that you mentioned, we go back because we are so uncomfortable,
Mm,
right? Or we don't feel worthy.
mm,
And these aren't things that people are going to tell you, but these are things that I'm listening to when I'm hearing people.
yeah.
This it's like it's all of the other things around you. Like if you're the first person in your family to have a successful business and not successful because it's cool on Instagram, but it's cool at the bank,
Right.
that's different,
Your numbers is
right?
you really got good numbers.
Right? And you
Yeah.
don't feel comfortable in because the conversation changes because now you're like, hey, um, you're like, I ain't had the best month. I only made 10K. It's certain people you can't say that to, right?
Right. Because I'll be like, they only do it. That's only 35,000. That's not. And then I'm paying attention to who I'm saying that to because only
Right,
35 for some is like that's
right.
good. I
I
always
got a
say
client.
I don't have $1,000 problems anymore. I got $10,000 problems. Everything.
Exactly. The problems start to change. The conversation is
Yeah.
different. The tax
Yeah.
bills get higher. Every you people,
Yes.
you just have all these other layers that come into play.
Yeah.
I got a client who, if he make less than $100,000 in a month, he's gonna be on my phone like, "What's Lee? I got a problem," right?
Right.
Because his minimum is just what it is,
It's just
right?
he got a whole different
And
minimum.
so he got a different minimum, and there's nothing wrong with anybody's minimums, right? So I
Yeah.
don't want anybody to feel that way. If your minimum is $1,000, then that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Then we figure out how do we raise it and how do we raise it if that's what you want. I don't
Yeah.
believe that everybody wants to be rich or a millionaire, so I don't treat
Exactly.
them that way. I
Right.
treat people
Exactly.
based off you want to be a thousandaire, then we're gonna be a thousandaire.
Their
You
own
want to be a
financial.
millionaire because
Yeah.
everybody's got their own financial goals.
Right.
So once we go from receiving to keeping, then we have to be comfortable with having more than enough.
Mm.
And this is the sweet spot. This is where, like, for me, my clients go from coaching clients to CFO clients or tax clients in this place where it's like, I have more than enough and I'm comfortable with more than enough, or I'm ready to get to that more than enough spot. And
Yeah.
that's where the conversation changes.
And so, how do we? Because I see this as Black women. I meant to pull this up and I forgot to. I saw something that said, like, as Black women, we'll spend our market. We're spending 1 billion, but we're only sought to earn a couple thousand. Like it talks about how much we spend as Black women, but not how many of us are receiving that. And so, when we talk about that minimum too, the other part of it is the sort of guilt that Black women feel of having a minimum of 1 million. Like, can we talk about that? Because it's not yet normalized as much as we see people say it. There's more of us as Black women that have discomfort with earning that amount of money versus, the masses. Most of us are intimidated by that.
I think it always all gonna go back to that intimacy piece.
Mm,
Where are you in your story? Right? A lot of us stumbled into money, especially during the pandemic.
right.
So our money is ahead of our minds. So they're not intimate at all. There's no connection there. So what I find that women, especially in that space, are a lot of the women that I'm dealing with that I
Yeah.
see who are 500 and above or like right almost at a million is that identity. It's that identity shift
Yeah.
to go from we've been telling the same stories for so long that it's tricky when people tell you to tell your story because it's like you don't want to let go of the where I came from piece, right?
Right.
Right? You don't want to let go of it because it made you who you are, but
Really.
sometimes the story can't keep starting right there, right? Like that got to be the prelude or something. Maybe it
Mm,
can't be you see what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
there's a shift where it's like we can't forget those things because it made us who we are. But once we shift that story, we cannot keep telling ourselves, we can't keep repeating our own story. We know our lives, we know what happened. We don't
Right.
have to keep repeating
Repeating.
repeating
Yeah.
it because what happens is we use that as the reason why we have what we have when it's just like you're not a millionaire because you grew up in poverty.
Right.
You're a millionaire because you were smart enough to do this. You leveraged the right things. You had a great idea.
Right.
We can't keep giving our all of our struggles
The power.
um
Yeah.
the
The human.
power or the what's the word I'm looking for? We can't keep giving our struggles like credit,
Credit. Okay. Okay.
right? At
Yeah.
some point it
Yeah.
has to be I did
Something.
this because I woke up one morning and decided my energetic minimum was going to be this, and I started working with the energy and I started praying to God or whatever you do, and
Yeah.
things worked out.
Right. Right.
Right, because what I find is that Black women in particular, we spend a lot of money, right?
We
But I
do.
think we fall short even when I look at people's financial statements. I think we fall short on we don't spend the money on us. We spend it on the business. We're
Mm,
not looking at that's why all my clients, I'm like, where's the pleasure here? Where's the pleasure points? So
mm.
for me, like I shared with you earlier, I started doing pole fitness classes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how I birthed this framework because
Oh.
I come from a like background where I would have to be politically correct.
Right.
So somebody done probably already sent this to my daddy, like Leanna is on here talking that talk. She is
Talking
on here
that.
talking that talk, you know.
So, hold on, let's
Yeah.
get to the question. Look, Latoya was on here. She was on here last week talking about pleasure. I'm loving this theme. It wasn't even intentional of us doing things that bring us pleasure. So there was a question: when we need to receive or have a tough time letting the orgasm happen, does this mean we have to focus on our money or what produces the money? You want me to read?
Um, yeah, give it to me one more time.
When we need to receive or have a tough time letting the orgasm happen, does this mean we have to focus on our money or what produces the money?
Mm, I would say neither. I never
Mm,
tell people to focus on money, right? Like this
mm,
whole conversation, I'm a finance girly, a CFO, all of that. We haven't talked about not one number,
right,
right?
right,
In those moments, you have to focus on who you're being, right? Because all of this is about your identity. Am I the kind of person who has abundance? Am I the kind of person who um, has this orgasmic feeling about life? Am
yeah,
I receiving? And
yeah,
sometimes, a lot of times, even to this day, I always check myself, like, who
yeah,
am I being right now?
right.
Because the answer to that question is going to money is just a byproduct of you
Uh,
being
ooh, I
all
like
these things.
it's a
I
byproduct of your identity.
It's a byproduct of your identity and your self belief and the personal power that you carry.
Now, what do
right?
we say to the woman that says, no, I believe that I'm a millionaire. I believe that these things, but the money isn't flowing. What do you say to her?
I would say, okay, I believe I'm a millionaire. I believe this, but the money isn't flowing. And I would say, well, why is the money not flowing? And then they're going to say something. They're going to say, all right, tell me something. Why is the money not flowing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I do my videos. I'm on YouTube. I send my emails. You know,
I would say, how often are you asking for a sale?
mm,
Are you just sending emails? Are we just on the internet talking about ideas? Or are you saying, I have this thing, I'm already an expert at this, it costs this much? Is it properly priced? And how
yeah,
often are you putting it in front of people's face? Because Fashion Nova texts me about 3 times a day.
I know. We be so worried about sending all them text messages. They don't give a flippy flop. Them art goddess though. They will
No,
text you
they
50
text me all
times
day,
in a
you
day. They
know?
do not care. But I've also found that for those that say they believe, there's really something in them that doesn't believe. Like that's even in the scripture, like help my
Mm-hmm.
unbelief, right?
Yeah,
Because there's a part of you that's still sitting in the disbelief or the unbelief that it is for you, right? And
absolutely.
so,
I
yeah,
agree.
and
Because
it's
you
not
wouldn't even
always
say
conscious,
it.
and it's not always conscious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yes,
goes to like I know that you're licensed in hypnotherapy, which is really about bringing the subconscious mind to the conscious so it could be addressed and handled
yeah.
and dealt with. Because I always say it is some you might be saying this, but it's
Are,
something
are
in
you are you embodying that? Because the
right, right,
millionaire version of yourself, when do they get up in the morning? What are they eating? Who are they around? What are
yes,
you listening to? There are times like I love some good music, right?
I can
I
see.
love, right? I'm in there jamming. But there are times where I can't hear that.
Yeah.
I might have to go to gospel. I might have to go to my podcast. I might have to go to class. I love listening to classical music. I
Hmm.
cannot put that in.
That's
So
true.
if you tell me like, and I'm human, I love like all the things, all the trap music, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, I
Yeah,
love all of those things.
yeah.
But when I was in my most vulnerable places on this journey,
You
the
couldn't.
days I couldn't,
I know.
because
It's
it
true.
doesn't support what
Yeah.
I'm trying to get out. There are
It,
times where I'm like, I gotta get up. I need to put my makeup on because the millionaire version of myself, she not gonna be booked and busy. Like
baby,
she not busy, but she's in all the right places that's cutting
listen.
the right checks. Okay.
I am fully dressed and I almost put on my flats, but then I put on my heels because I felt like I needed to walk up today. I need to walk into Monday feeling like a boss. Now I'm sitting in the chair.
Exactly.
I don't even have shoes on. But when I walk to that bathroom, I'm a strut of these heels because I need to feel
Exactly.
like I'm that chick today.
Right.
Right? Because
Yeah.
I need to show up.
You
Okay,
because you
have
gotta,
yeah,
that's the
and in my body
embodiment.
right now.
And
Yeah.
you like literally like when I was really in when I was the embodiment pieces, here are some of the things that I did when I was embodying. And I don't give everybody this advice because people can take it to the extreme, but I moved into the best building downtown because I
Mm,
wanted to be around. I didn't know what car. I walk outside my building, it might be a Maserati today, it might be a Rolls Royce tomorrow.
right.
It might be a this, it might be a that. At
Yeah.
that point in my journey, I needed to,
Be
like, I overwhelmed with this is
yes,
what you
yes,
need.
yes.
Now, I'm in a place now where I don't need to see that all the time.
Right.
Like,
Because it's in
right?
you. It's
It's
in you.
in me,
Right,
right?
right,
So
right.
for a period of time,
Yeah.
you have to, I don't care if you, some clients, they're like, I want this. I'm like, let's go get it. Like, can
Yeah.
we go get that and not break the bank? Is it gonna be the end of the world? Okay,
Right.
well let's go get that thing that will not cause you like hardship over time. I'm not gonna say let's go get $100,000 car,
Yeah, when I
but
say
some people like, I'm like, I don't do my laundry, and
I don't
anytime I try to do it, it's bad.
I don't want it. Yeah, I don't want it. I don't
Right?
do
So I'm
it.
like, let's go and
Yeah.
outsource laundry for a couple of times. Here's a
Right,
company, they'll do your laundry. Like
right.
it's little things that you can
Little
do to embody it.
yes.
It don't have
Because
to
it
be
brings down
crazy.
when you're doing those things, it can also bring down your vibration level, right? So if I'm on a go and I'm grinding and I'm in this space of creation and then I got to stop and do
Do
laundry.
some laundry,
I think
baby. That
I'm
laundry is gonna sit
you
there.
telling my vibe. I'm way too sexy for this, like your song. Like I'm way too sexy to be.
Yeah. And
Don't
that's
judge me. I'm just saying. I'm
right.
going to do it. I'm going to
Yeah.
ask this question. Listen, I know we are 1 o'clock, y'all. We don't usually go over an hour, but this is so good, and I just want to give y'all a chance to ask questions. I'm gonna ask this one question, and then we're gonna wrap it up so y'all can go back with your day. But this was so good. So the one question, which I think is good, is saying, where does the ease come from, or where should it come into play to attract the masculine? Because I don't know, most of us are tough cookies. So that surrender and ease is like a foreign concept, and it's like danger, danger. So how what would you teach us, and how would you encourage us to start to live in ease and operate in ease?
Okay. So two things I would say. The first thing is I will get familiar with your ego, right? And so when we think about our egos are there. There's a difference between ego and pride. Like pride is I'm never wrong, can't nobody tell me nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Your ego is that little voice in your head, and its job is to keep you safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's where self-sabotage comes from. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime you might be in a situation where it's like, let's say you want to go out of town, and then you find all the reasons to not go out of town. It's not that
Yeah.
you don't want to go out of town, it's that your ego is trying to keep you safe because that's its job. Anytime like you're in a situation and you kind of like something is telling you like, I don't, let's not do this, is either your gut or your ego.
Right.
And because its job is to keep you safe, anytime you try to do something different, it's going
Mhm.
to say, hey, we don't do that. We've always done it this way.
Yeah.
We have to keep doing it this way.
Right.
So when
Right.
that comes up, the first thing is it my ego trying to keep me safe? And am I in danger?
Right.
If the answer is no, I'm not in danger, and is my ego trying to just keep me safe because I've been doing it this way forever, then you have to keep going. You have to become so self aware when you're getting ready to self sabotage through a
Mm-hmm.
lens that is giving yourself so much grace because this is new and it is challenging. This is harder than scaling a business. This
Right.
is harder than making money. Making money is really the easiest part.
Yeah.
Um, so you got to check yourself all the time. Is this my ego trying to keep me safe?
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, and you're not in danger, you have to go past that so that you can expand and show your ego. A lot of times, our egos are looking for proof that something is possible, right? So it's like,
Good. That's
right?
good.
Because
Yeah.
if it sees that it's possible, it's like, oh, that's safe. And then your ego is not going to bother you no more. It's going to
Yeah.
be like, oh, it's
Yeah.
okay. All right,
So is that
cool.
what ease looks like in
I would say that's where you can start to make your, because us as Black women, our ego is not going to be comfortable with ease. So you
mm,
have to do little things to say it's okay. So that might look like, if you have a business, that might look like instead of working an 8-hour day, maybe work a 6-hour day.
mm,
Show your ego, I still made the same amount of money. Everything is fine. Nothing burned down. It
yeah.
may be, like some of us grew up in a lot of chaos. So
Right.
you don't know how to function when things are peaceful, right?
Yeah.
So it might mean if you're the person that's always late because you're so used to, you love that hustle and bustle, your ego likes that hustle and bustle. You know what? I'm gonna get somewhere 15 minutes early. I'm gonna let my body feel like all of
Yeah.
this we've been talking about sensuality. You have to feel your body, which is why
Yeah.
I started doing pole dancing classes because
Yeah.
it drops me out of my head and into my
Into your
body
into your body.
because
Out
I
of your
have to
head into your
feel
yeah, the
what's
sensuality.
happening.
You got to connect with yourself, and
Right.
just the practice of that in that way helps you also connect with yourself across everything else and anything else that you're doing.
And
I love
things will start to flow. So I would
that.
say check yourself
Yeah,
and drop into your body. How does your body feel?
yeah,
And ease is challenging. It is, but You have to do a little bit at a time. It's not going to change overnight. Like, I'm a type A personality. It's challenging,
Me too.
but you have to ask yourself, what does ease look like for you? It might
Right.
look different for you than me, but if it's like, I will always tell people, ask yourselves as many questions as you can.
Right. Right. And that idea of like, so, and what do you want? Because
Hmm.
either you want to keep living type A, like, do you want to continue to live that way? Or you want to continue, or do you want to live in some ease and abundance
Hmm.
and financial well-being? Because it's hard either way, right? And so you get to choose which
Yeah.
hard, right? I want to choose the hard that's hard for a moment, but getting me to where I want to be versus the hard that I've been conditioned in, like somebody else said, glorifying the struggle. Latoya said
Hmm.
erotic embodiment is critical. Okay, we got to wrap up so people can go back to work. What, if they didn't hear anything else from you today and everything that you shared, what do you want them to walk away knowing?
I want you to walk away knowing that you are worthy of everything you desire, and it's time to tap into what you actually want, not for the people around you, but for yourself. So, a question
Yeah.
I always tell people is to really think about, I call them pleasure points. What are your pleasure points? What do you want for yourself? Figure that out first before you ever talk or think about money.
Mm,
So it's time to like give yourself permission to have more pleasure and
yeah.
more desire and more money and
And you
more orgasms.
as a tool to do it, right?
Absolutely.
To give yourself more pleasure and enjoyment. I love it. I love it. I love it. Where can the people find you? Because you need to be found, okay? Where can they find you? How can they connect with you?
So you can find me on Instagram is the social media platform I use the most. My Instagram, actually all my social medias are it's Leanna Miller. So you can always find me there. All of my links are in my bio to learn more about the services I offer. Tomorrow I'm actually having a free masterclass that's called
Yes.
Financial Foreplay.
Let me see.
So
Yes.
if you can register by just clicking the link in my bio on my Instagram, and we're going to really talk about peeling back the layers of financial foreplay and desires and all of those things. One of the things we didn't get to touch on because this conversation was so good. There's two ways you can work with me. I do coaching, which is where the money intimacy side of things. So if you're a woman, whether you're in business or not, you want to get your money together and all of that, I offer that in my coaching mastermind. And then if you are a business owner and you're ready to have a financial expert dig into your numbers and help you scale, get through those climaxes off to ecstasy, I do offer CFO services for people who are ready for that point.
Yes,
So,
and I will give you a testimonial that before I switched to her as my tax planner, I was paying out thousands of dollars. When I switched to her, I was getting thousands of dollars, even though I made $425,000 last year.
yeah.
So she is the truth, the way, and the light. God is, but using her as a vessel because I don't know what she did, and she does it, and it's legal and it's right. But she is great at what she does, which is why I use her and I recommend anyone else who needs those services to tap in.
That's called a tax gasm. Okay.
I got to get comfortable with these gasms and things. Y'all, thank you for joining us. Our quote of the week is simply, I am a money magnet. Say it with me. I am a
I
money
am a money
magnet.
magnet.
I am a money magnet, right? Live in that, embody that. Do what you need to do to embody that, whether that's counseling, whether that is pole dancing so you can get in touch with your sensual self and begin to be retaught what your body is telling you in any given moment of your life. Whether you need to connect whatever narrative is not only playing out in your money, but is in playing out in all other areas of your life as well. Take the time to do that and raise that minimum, that energetic minimum, right? And figure
Right.
out a new minimum so you can not only experience orgasms, but ecstasy. Whoa! That's it for us for Make It Happen Monday, y'all. Take care. Bye bye.